New company or operating business, do you think the consulate is going to have a preference?
We need to show that business is real. And if you're buying an existing business that has tax returns, there's something wrong there.
For someone that is acquiring an existing business, how relevant is it that a majority of the funds are in cash in relation to how much can be financed?
What is a real business, not marginal business?
So
have you ever come across any situation where someone provided the financials, they had the funds,
Yes.
and then they were turned down?
yeah, that's how we learn that we now need to be more advanced. That's the only way we learn. I give you the guarantee that if you don't get approved and we can fix it, I'm not going to charge you for the second time.
Is the business plan that someone's providing mandatory for just new business or even for existing? Can you have in a business like really good, solid sales and then still be disqualified from an E-2? The key is it's not just about you establishing a business for yourself and have a presence, but they want to see that you're actually helping to create jobs.
New company or operating business when applying for an E-2 visa? Advantages, risks? What do you think? What will be better?
Well, it depends on you, right? If you want to buy an existing business and the business makes sense for you, meaning it's profitable, it's at a good price, like we can work with both. So again, it's not about the visa, it's about the business. What are some benefits of doing an existing business? One of them, it's going to be a faster process because you eliminate the fact that you need to build up a business for applying for the visa. That's usually a month or two that you're getting rid of. So it's going to be a faster process that way. But also you need to make sure that the business that you're buying has all the documents and requirements that we need. It has employees, it has an office, it has a website, it has a phone number, it has utility bills, it has tax returns, it has bank statements. So you got to work with a good business broker or somebody that can go over these documents with you to make sure that it's a legit business.
Do you think the consulate is going to have a preference?
Not necessarily, but I think they're going to have an easier time reading documents that already exist, like the financial statements, tax returns, 941s, W-2s, because with a new business, we're sending you without all of those documents because they don't exist yet, right? The 941, the W-2, the 1099, those usually happen at the end of the year. Most of these of the businesses that we apply with that are new, they're probably been operating for a month or two. Mm-hmm. So these documents don't exist yet. So in that way, I feel like it's easier for the officer to look at an existing business and say, yeah, this business is real.
Mm-hmm.
With regards to the existing business, I guess here's the first question. If you're dealing with business brokers, how much should you rely on the data information that they give you? Like how conversant are they or knowledgeable are they with regards to foreigners and their visas?
So they don't know a lot. That's why the client needs to talk to me first before buying a business, because I'm going to tell him what documents I need so he can tell the business broker what documents we need before the transaction ever happens. There are businesses that don't have tax returns because they don't, right? That business doesn't help me. Or it's not going to get you the visa because we need to show that business is real. And if you're buying an existing business that has tax returns, there's something wrong there. So it's very important for the client to talk to an attorney first before moving forward with the business broker. Business broker, or at least most of them, are not going to know they're not going to know immigration law as much as we would like for them to be able to tell you, yeah, this business is good for the visa, this business is not. So that's why it has to be like a hybrid of working with the attorney, working with the business broker to find the right business.
And I know it's critical. I mean, if you're to build personal credit as a foreign national, that obviously helps establish a footprint in the financial system. But when you're building credit from a business standpoint, that's what really allows you to scale, right? So I get asked the question a lot, how do you develop credit? How important is it? The question is, for someone that is acquiring an existing business, how relevant is it that a majority of the funds are in cash in relation to how much can be financed? Like how does that pertain to a visa and or affect it if it does?
Got it. So let's say the business is worth 100K and they're selling it to you for 100K, and you got a loan or a refinance for 80K. 80% of the funds that you're using are basically on credit. That's fine. So there's no law saying that you can't use credit or you can't use loans to buy the business. The less money you use credit wise, the better, because it does play into another requirement that's called marginality, right? The more debt you have going into the business, the harder it is for the business to be not marginal, right? Because you have a debt, you have to pay $3,000 a month on a loan that you got to pay to buy the business. Then it might hurt the case in a way that the business is no longer profitable, or it's harder for the business to be profitable.
Okay, right? I get that. But like in real estate, in my world, when you understand leverage, it becomes very powerful, right? So when it comes to the visas, is it a strategy that someone can employ? Meaning, hey, I've got this 100,000. I'm going to acquire the business for visa purposes. This is what I'm showing, and then I'm going to turn around, and as soon as I'm able, I'm going to refinance and pull my principal out of it, or as much as possible. Is that frowned upon?
No, as long as as long as you know what you're doing and the business is still profitable and not marginal, you can pull out the money and reinvest it in a second one, or maybe a real estate or whatever. So you can do that, yeah. And it actually helps the case if you have more than one investment already. So if by the time that you're renewing your visa 5 years from now, instead of with just one business, I send you with 2 or 3 because you were able to do the refinancing and put money out and reinvest it. It helps the case.
But the key is definitely come up with as much cash as you can, and then implement that strategy once you receive the visa.
That would be ideal.
Now, you said marginality. What does that mean? What is a real business, not marginal business?
So the best definition that I can give you, because immigration does not give us a definition, it's that you're able to get enough profit for you and your family to eat, for your family to live in the U.S., and also your employees, that you're paying them a reasonable salary, so that you and your employees are able to live off the business.
How many employees do you need?
Initially, I like to see 1 or 2. 3 would be best. So 1 to 3 is what I would like to see.
And for visa purposes, does it matter if the business is just like a mom and pop that's being acquired, or for, let's say, E-2, is it favorable if it's considered a franchise?
So when you go to the interview with a consular officer, you're talking to a human being, right? So if I'm the officer and I see that this person bought a mom and pop and this person got a McDonald's, the McDonald's has a higher chance of being successful just because of the name. So in that sense, a franchise or a brand business is better, but it's not a hard requirement, right? It's just better in that way, that it looks better, so it's easier for the officer to make a decision on whether they think the business is going to be profitable or not. But if the mom and pop shop you're buying has very good numbers too, then I don't see a problem with the mom and pop shop.
So definitely, whoever's like overlooking the financials, if it's a mom and pop, it's not just some P&L. Like, they're going to look at the history of that business.
They might look at it more in depth, definitely, than if it's a franchise or a brand business that they know it's going to be.
Because it looks more like professional. It looks
more professional. Because they know that a franchise gives you a lot of tools to be successful. The franchise wants you to succeed. So it's not just you alone anymore. It's you and a huge corporation behind you, giving you the tools, giving you the training, giving you the CRMs, the leads, the manuals. So in that sense, franchise might be easier, but that doesn't mean that mom and pop wouldn't work.
Do you think that's why maybe like more than 60% of the Latinos that invest into the U.S. to get a visa prefer to go through the franchise route?
I think that, and it's also cultural shock. We keep going to that term because the way you do business in Canada or Mexico is very different than the way you do business in the U.S. So having that franchise, that corporation behind you, teaching you the ways to do business in the U.S., it's very helpful. So that might be the reason why, and because it's easier for them to invest, right? Because one thing is, I'm going to open up my own restaurant, but I don't know how to get the licenses. I don't know where to buy the tables. I don't know how to come up with the menu. I don't know how to do anything in the US because I'm brand new. But if I buy a Jimmy John's or whatever restaurant franchise you want to name, they give you all the ins and outs of what to do, where to do. They even find you the locations at some of these franchises. So it's just a more straightforward process with a franchise than without.
So how does that then affect someone who lacks business experience and wants to come to the U.S. and buy a business? Is it favorable then to be able to present the franchise model? Or is their business experience still play a factor in determining whether they get the visa?
Right? It does. So if you are an entrepreneur in your home country and you've run several businesses, or you have a direct experience in a restaurant and you're going to open up a restaurant in the US, then that helps a lot because you have the experience to run a business. You even ran restaurants before. So it does help. With a franchise, it's less of a requirement because the franchise does train you for it. So, I mean, both work. The experience does come into play. It's not a huge factor, but it does come into play at the interview. What experience do you have? They ask you about the business, how much you're paying in rent, what's your margins, what are your margins, things like that. So it does come into play. I wouldn't say it's a huge factor, but the more prepared the investor, the better, the easier time they're going to have at the interview.
And if I buy an existing business, let's say that, I don't know, I found something for $100K. The whole investment I do into the business is considered as investment for the visa process, or there could be some things that, no, from this 100, it's just 80,000 that we consider.
Right. So what I recommend is that the whole 100K you put into your LLC. That way, all the expenses are from one bank account and we can easily track the expenses. But you're right that if you spend 100K, but maybe 5K of those is a rent on your home because you're using it as a home office, that might not have a lot of weight for immigration. So they might not count that. Or they might say, yeah, you invested 100, but 5 of those were in rent for your home office. So I'm not going to count them for the investment. Or maybe you got like a car because you need a car. But they might be like, yeah, a car might be corporate, but it's still your car. So yeah, it's investment and you can put it as an investment accounting wise, but they might not have a lot of weight at the interview or in the application.
But is that based on like a pro forma or a projection? Because it's not as if that potential visa holder has already spent or allocated that money. They're just showing what they're going to be doing.
No, for me to send you to the interview, that means that you already spent all those funds.
Okay, but then so let's backtrack a second because then I think people need some clarity on this. Do you just simply have to be able to show a purchase agreement? Like if I'm the franchisor, right? How do I know that I want to sell this specific franchise to this possible visa holder?
Right. So it used to be that we could put the money, the franchise fee, which is like $56,000 in a trust. And we would write a contract saying, if I get the visa, I pay you the franchise fee. And that would be enough for you to get the visa.
I almost feel like you're at a disadvantage though.
As an investor or as a franchise?
Well, as an investor, because now you're competing against, let's say, an American who can, confirm acquisition.
I'll buy you tomorrow. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
As opposed to someone saying, I'll buy it, but it's conditional upon me being approved.
Yeah. So it used to be that way. Nowadays, it's a little more strict. So I do want you to buy it, with or without the visa, right? I need you to buy it first, pay the franchise fee, and even go further, which is the next phase of the franchise acquisition, which is invest into the actual business, right? Because one thing is a franchise fee, then you need to invest into the setup of the franchise.
But that sounds risky.
It's just like everything else.
Risk, because the guy is in, let's say, Canada or Germany or whatever, and he could be denied, and the business is there. Now, who's going to take care of my business and my money?
It's the same risk as if you put on your own business, right? Because you got to invest anyways. You got to set up shop. You got to...
with the disadvantage that you cannot cross the border.
Exactly. With disadvantage that you're going to cross the border. But yeah, we would need the investment with a franchise, they're a little less strict because you're under contract that you're going to invest, right? It's not like you can back out after paying $50,000 a franchise fee. So there's a little more leeway on when I can send you to the consular. I usually send you after you're paying the franchise fee. In some cases, maybe when you're in the construction phase. But with your own business, I do need you to be 100% there.
Okay, but like the reality of it is, if someone has a purchase agreement, mm-hmm. and they have no conditions mm-hmm. for acquisition, because, you know, as you said, times evolved and there's no conditional upon visa, et cetera, is there really a risk?
I mean,
have you ever come across any situation where someone provided the financials, they showed that they tied up this franchise, mm-hmm. they had the funds, yes. and then they were turned down?
Yeah, that's how we learn that we now need to be more advanced. That's the only way we learn. So my client paid a huge franchise fee of like $80,000. But then the next phase was they needed to actually build it was a lot, and they needed to build the franchise in the lot. So it would take like another 6 months, yeah. right? Because it takes a long time to build whatever they need to build. So I sent it to the consulate because they already paid the franchise fee, and I want them to have the E-2 while the construction phase, so they can easily be in and out of the country. The consular says no, because you're not going to be operating yet, or it's still a long time before you're going to be operating. Come back to me when the construction is further.
So no good faith, none of that, completely irrelevant.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's how we learn. So no big deal. The client's like, hey, they want me to be more advanced. That's fine. With your tourist visa, you can go to the construction phase. You're just gotta be more careful what you can do and what you cannot. And now we're sending the client to the consulate a little more. Like they're almost ready to open up the doors.
So but it seems at that point, still, would you agree or disagree that possibly the risk is still alleviated? It's just pending.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
But it's not like you've never come across something where you've gone that far and then they said, nah, we're denying you.
No, that doesn't happen. That's why we have a high approval rate. Last time we checked, it was above 90%, because there is a little bit of good faith, and there is that if you invest in doing things right, we're going to give you the visa. I think those 10% of denials are either like early appliers, like my case that I sent you after the franchise fee, but then they get resolved afterwards. And I think it's worth, at least with me, I give you the guarantee that if you don't get approved and we can fix it, I'm not going to charge you for the second time. So there is a benefit of applying early and see if you get the visa, because it does give you more liberties of what you can do in the US, what you cannot. It gives you a social security number. You can start getting the driver's license. You can live in the US, or you can start getting a house, and you can be more present in the business, right? But if they say no and they tell you, well, no, because it's too early, that's fine. Then we'll just keep with the process, and we'll send you at a later time, and then you get the visa after, right? That's fine.
And for example, on that project, while they are constructing or building the location or whatever, mm-hmm. It's very convenient to have the socials, so you have a credit card already with the business name and everything, and instead of paying everything cash, you start using your credit card, mm-hmm. and you get miles, points, whatever. But at the same time, it's way easier to pay than just be making like wire transfers or whatever, or cutting checks, mm-hmm. you know.
Exactly. So it is just about adapting to the criteria of the officer at that point in time, because we're talking the other day, officers rotate, right? So what the officer today said it was good, in a month it might be another officer that says it's not okay. So it's just about adapting, finding out, or as an attorney, what I do is let's make sure that there's no red flags that we can't fix. Because if there's a red flag that I can't fix, then I can't send you. They say no because of that.
Now, one question, Tom. When I went, or before I went to the interview, Mexico City, they request more information. Is that normal that they request more information on every case? And that's when you can kind of see what they want.
Exactly.
More information?
So it's extremely normal, because they set you, at least in Mexico City, they give you a limit of 100 pages. Canada is 50 pages. So they want no information 50 whatsoever. Pages? In my case, it's hard to put in a whole application in 50 pages. We try to get smart and like do double pages in one, but they're like, no, don't do that. We don't like that. So it's 100 pages of trying to guess what they want to see. And they do give you a little template of what they like to see, but there's no way I can fit all of that in 100 pages. So I pick and choose the best documents, and then they come back to me, your application is deficient, please submit AVC. And they don't give you a limit on the AVC. Now you can send everything.
But that can kind of give you the idea of what they are not liking it.
Exactly.
And that's why they need more info.
Exactly. So in my franchise case, they send me the deficiency, send me proof that water bills, utility bills, and employees. Like none of them exist because we're very in the construction phase, and that's what I told the client. You're in the construction phase, so let's wait until you finish that, and then we'll give you the visa.
But they will wait until the interview to tell you that.
Yeah.
That's the bad part of it.
And clients obviously are not super happy that they travel to the consulate, they didn't get the visa, but at least we know what they want, right? And whenever we send you again, like we know they know exactly what they want, and we know exactly what they want. So it's gonna be an easier time. All of my second tries, they're not a lot. Again, 90% approval rate. But the few second tries that we do have, the second interview is, oh, you did it? Okay, cool. Here's your visa, right? So
because it stays there.
It stays there
on record.
Yeah.
Is the business plan that someone's providing, trying to fit it within X amount of pages, is the business plan that someone's providing mandatory for just new business or even for existing ones?
Even for renewals, there's clients that have been here 20 years and they need a new business plan for a 20-year-old business. I think there's no other 20-year business that's gonna give them a business plan because they're like, what do you mean? I've been in business for 20 years. What do I need a business plan for? But no, they want to see your plans of growth and it's fair. So we do supply a business plan every time. It used to be that renewals, sometimes they don't request them, but then we started sending them without on the renewals and they would send us an email. We found a deficiency, please submit a business plan. We're like, it's a renewal, but you don't want to really fight with the consulate. So if they want it, we'll just submit it, right?
Yeah.
You would think that just your profit and loss statements would be sufficient. Like, hey, this looks healthy. You're operating. What do you need to provide a new business plan for?
Sometimes it's just...
don't question it, you're saying.
Exactly. Don't question it. If the officer wants it, yes, officer, here's the new business plan.
Sorry, I forgot.
Sorry, I forgot about it. That's my bad. No, it's fair. They can request it, so we'll submit it.
And let's talk about the existing businesses. So it could be a franchise. Okay, fine. It's kind of like a startup, but with the franchise structure. It helps us. I can do a startup by myself. It's going to have different requirements and stuff. But I also see two different kinds of existing businesses. Either I buy Joe's business and now it's 100% mine, or I got in partnership with him. Is it possible as well?
It's possible. There's another requirement that needs you to be that your nationality, so you're Mexican, that 50% or more of the business is owned by Mexicans for the business to be considered Mexican as well and can qualify for the E-2. So that's another requirement that we need to keep in mind. Also, immigration doesn't like when you pay Joe $100K and then you're just partner. They want you to also invest in the business. So out of the $100K, you're gonna say, Joe, here's 80%, here's $80K for the shares, but I'm also gonna inject $20K into the business for growth.
But in that case, if the business is already operational, it's viable, healthy performance, why is that become relevant?
It's subjective to because the officer said so, and because we've been taught by them that that's what they like to see. Because if I put my consular officer hat, I can say, well, you gave Joe $100K, but what if Joe gave it back to you, and we don't know about it? So I want you to have skin in the game and put money in the business.
So, yeah. So it will be more important than how much you put into the business than how much do I pay Joe.
Exactly.
For the business.
A good mix, because it makes sense that Joe gets his fair share of the shares, right? But it also makes sense that they want you to have skin in the game and put, hey, I want you to invest in the business and I want to see it expensed, right? I mean, it's fair. I think it makes sense.
What if we both have a business already that has been operating on my side and Joe's, we merge? Can I still apply for a visa?
Yeah, we can apply for a visa. We would show that you invested in your business, and that's probably where we would get the substantial investment from. But then we'll have to see how the new structure is, percentages, employees, who's paying for the employees, is it a new company, is it just like a partnership? So there's a bunch of things that we need to see before, but it's possible.
What if Joe, and this is the last example I wanted to kind of go through. Joe has a business. He remodeled houses in Nebraska. But Joe knows how to do it. And he's going to help me open the same business in Arkansas. And I'm going to invest in my own business, but Joe is going to let me know how to do it. He's going to help me out or whatever. He's going to have probably, I don't know, 20% of my business, and I'm the one investing on it. Does it look good?
It looks great because now you have a U.S. strategic partner helping you with the business. It's more of a secure investment, not just for you as the investor, but also to the officers saying, okay, this guy has a partner that knows what they're doing. And it's a minority share owner, so that works. And you are the one investing, not the U.S. citizen. So yeah, it works.
And I'm gonna be paying him, I don't know, a distribution agreement or
20% of
a
his
licensing
share,
agreement or whatever. I'm gonna pay him royalties for his knowledge to tell me how to do it.
That's fine.
That's
fine. That's great. Yeah, it helps with not just with the visa, also with how the business flows. Right, it's easier if you have somebody that knows how to do it.
So showing a partner who has experience and history.
It's like having a franchise, right? Because a franchise is like kind of your partner.
Totally
so it makes sense.
Can you have in a business like really good, solid sales and then still be disqualified from an E-2, or be like denied?
So there are different requirements. So if you don't meet one of those requirements, it could be denied. Marginality is one, which will be covered by sales. But what if you had great sales but no employees? Then you're still denied. Yeah, you're a millionaire, Joe, but I need your employee. Yeah, I need you to create jobs for other people to also be millionaires, right? So that's what they want to do. So you can have great sales, but you have no employees, they're going to deny you anyways.
Because I think there's a lot of people that are naive to that, thinking, hey, as long as my business has good sales, then I should easily qualify for an E-2.
And I think that happens with a lot of people that are selling on Amazon, for example.
E-commerce is very popular. A lot of people made a bunch of money of it, but they have no employees because they don't pay anybody. They're just like a broker kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Because they send the stuff from China, they put it into the Amazon warehouse, they sell it from whoever part of the world they are, and yeah, they can make millions, but they are not creating jobs.
Yeah, you're just transferring money from here to here.
So the key is it's not just about you establishing a business for yourself and have a presence, but they want to see that you're actually helping to create jobs.
Yeah, that's the main thing of this visa. Not just invest, because anybody can invest. They want you to stimulate the economy. How do you stimulate the economy? Job creation.
And I think that's a huge misconception with a lot of people that says, but I have invested a lot of money in the US because I bought 3 houses, I have a stock, and I bought this, I bought the other, and whatever. But okay, yeah, there are investments, but not for...
And anybody could get a visa if that was the case, which is not the case. The case is I need you to invest in an active business that stimulates the economy, not a brokering account that has 3 million in the stock market. That doesn't help us, right? We need active investment, creating jobs.
That's the clear distinction: passive versus active.
Correct.
Active in their eyes means it's employing people.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then one of the things, there are several influencers in social media speaking about buying existing businesses, right? And they speak so much about financing. Okay. Now, I understand that SBA loans are not available for foreign nationals, and it's going to change, or it has already changed. Not even for residents. Now it has to be a U.S. citizen in order to get it. But there's people that get distracted with that because, I want to get a business pretty much on credit and get my visa. Now, let's suppose that I talk to Joe, and Joe like me, and he says, you know what? I'm going to sell you my business for $100K, but just pay me $20,000, and the rest you can do it in 10 years.
Yeah.
Can I still apply for a visa with something like that?
Yeah. We would want you to be... I would like to send you to the consulate once there's $50K invested. So you give a down payment of $20K, then it's going to be... It's 70 divided by 10 divided by 12. So I would want
in that particular case, I can, okay, Joe, I'm going to pay you 20, the rest in 10 years, but I'm going to invest another 30 in the business.
That's fine. And then not only that, all the income you're getting from that business and you reinvested also counts towards the 50K that I'd like to see. So maybe it takes you 3-4 months of operations to see those 50K rack up. And then at that point, I'll send you to the consulate.
Oh, so my own sales in the business count as an investment.
Right, because you can take it out. right? But you're not taking it out. You're investing it in salaries. You're investing it in your equipment and inventory and whatever you're doing. So that reinvesting, it works towards you. Because you could easily say, no, I'm going to fire everybody and I'm just going to get the sales out and I'm going to keep it bare bones. But you're not doing that. You're reinvesting in the business and that. That's
pretty interesting.
Well, what about people that want to invest in, so my world, real estate? Oh my gosh, how many foreign nationals want to invest in the U.S., acquiring U.S. property?
Yeah.
What's the path of least resistance? Because real estate can be a very passive investment.
Yeah.
So if I'm thinking along these lines, which is I want to buy property, I want to rent it, I want to hold on to it for the long term, is there anywhere in that scenario where someone can get a visa?
Okay. So just to clarify a misconception, you don't need a visa to acquire property. So you can just be an investor. You're buying property. I don't want to live in the U.S. I don't want to work in the U.S. I just want to invest. You can do that from home, from Canada, from Mexico, with a tourist visa. But if you want to live in the U.S. and you want to work in the U.S. and you want an E-2 visa, with real estate, there's ways of doing it, right? If you want to hold the property, then I will tell you, let's do, and I'm giving all my secrets here. I'll give you an LLC. We'll make an LLC that's going to hold the property. And we're going to make another LLC that's going to be the operational one. That's going to be maintaining, remodeling, building, having all the operational activity in this LLC. And this LLC is the one that's going to get you the visa, because this is the one creating jobs. The one that's holding the properties and leasing them is not creating jobs. So this is a passive investment, but the remodeling, the maintaining, the repairing, this one is creating jobs via subcontractors, if you're also a property manager plus remodeling, you also have guys that go and get the rents and go and talk to client and the tenants. So you're managing tenants. So that's the company that will get you the visa, the one that's creating jobs and has the active operations.
Okay, now I'm going to think really outside the box. That's just the way I am. I'm sorry. Okay.
There's no box with you.
There is no box. Okay, you have these two LLCs. Can you have a separate entity that acts as property manager to exclusively your properties?
Yeah. Does it work for the visa though? Because
that's the question.
How many houses do you need to manage as a property management company to be able to say, yeah, I need employees, like full-time employees?
But what if you had this one entity acting as a property manager for your properties and another entity, and that property management company employed a property management company?
No.
Use their infrastructure, use their employees, use their vendors, and paid everyone individually. See?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the officer's going to say like, that's well, like I know that it's going to raise eyebrows because you're in property management, and you will know more than I do. If I do a property management company, forget about the visa, would it make sense to subcontract every single one of my employees? Is it the norm? Or do you have your payroll? And
no, it's with the visa in mind. Otherwise,
no, but without the visa in mind, if
sure.
if I open up my property management company, would I be hiring contractors or would I be hiring payroll employees? W-2s.
A combination of both.
Yeah,
combination
I was
of both.
going to say it's a mix.
Okay.
It's a combination of both.
So if for visa purposes, it has to be a combination of both.
Okay. So you're telling me it's doable.
It's doable. I mean, again, if you're creating jobs and you're investing and you have an active operations, in theory, you qualify for the visa, but it's going to be up to the officer at the specific consular post. It's going to say, I don't know if this is active enough. So that's the caveat.
I got you.
Being that said, if you have an idea to invest in the US, you want to get your visa, you want to get into real estate, I think there's no better way to do it than do it with us, because there's experience getting visas. There's a great immigration lawyer. And of course, we have an expert on real estate. So thank you, Joe. Thank you, Thomas. If you want to invest in the US, let us know.